There's a moment in everyone's life that no one talks about. Not failure, not success, but the moment right before giving up. That quiet pause where you ask yourself, is this even worth it anymore? If you've ever been there, this story will feel uncomfortably familiar. Because this is not a success story. It's a survival story. And it starts on a very ordinary night. His name was Daniel. Daniel wasn't special. He wasn't talented in an obvious way. He wasn't the smartest student in the room. He was just consistent. Or at least, he was trying to be. Daniel was in his early 20s, studying something he wasn't even sure about anymore. Every day looked the same. Wake up tired. Attend classes half present. Come back with a head full of doubts. He wasn't failing badly, but he wasn't winning either. And sometimes, that middle space hurts the most. Because when you're failing, people notice. When you're succeeding, people celebrate. But when you're just stuck, no one sees you. Daniel felt invisible, not to others, to himself. He remembered how excited he once was, how motivated he used to feel, how he believed effort would eventually pay off. But somewhere along the way, that belief started cracking. Every small setback felt bigger. Every comparison felt heavier. Friends seemed to be moving ahead. Some were confident. Some had clarity. Some looked like they knew exactly where they were going. Daniel felt like he was walking with no destination. And slowly, the thought crept in. Maybe this isn't for me. He didn't say it out loud. He didn't quit dramatically. He just started trying less, skipping effort, lowering expectations, preparing himself for disappointment before life could do it for him. That's how giving up usually starts, not with a loud decision, but with quiet distance. One night, Daniel sat at his desk, staring at an unfinished assignment. It wasn't hard. It wasn't impossible. But he couldn't bring himself to do it. His mind kept saying, "What's the point?" He leaned back, closed his eyes, and for the first time, he admitted something honestly. "I'm tired of trying." Not tired physically, emotionally. Tired of hoping, tired of believing, tired of putting effort and seeing nothing change. That night, Daniel almost gave up. Not on college, not on a subject, on himself. He imagined a future where he stopped caring, where he chose something easy, where he no longer expected anything from life. And strangely, that future felt peaceful. No pressure, no disappointment, just numb. The next day, Daniel went to class anyway. Not because he was motivated, but because quitting required energy too. That day, something small happened. Nothing dramatic, no big speech, no miracle. The professor returned graded papers. Daniel didn't do well. Not terribly, just average. As the paper landed on his desk, the professor paused for a second and said, "You didn't fail, but I know you can do better than this." Then he walked away. That sentence stayed, not because it was harsh, but because it was honest. Daniel realized something uncomfortable. He wasn't giving up because he couldn't do it. He was giving up because he was scared of doing it and still not being enough. That fear was heavier than failure. For the next few days, Daniel felt conflicted. Part of him wanted to quit. Another part felt ashamed for wanting to quit. And that inner conflict is where most people stay stuck. Then one evening, Daniel found an old notebook, pages filled with goals, plans, ideas, from a version of him who believed deeply. Reading those pages hurt, because he didn't recognize that person anymore. But one line stood out. "I don't want to quit just because it gets hard." Daniel closed the notebook and sat quietly. And for the first time, he didn't ask, "Will I succeed?" He asked a different question. "If I quit now, will I respect myself later?" That question didn't motivate him. It grounded him. The next day, Daniel didn't promise big changes. He didn't feel inspired. He just decided one thing. "I won't give up today." That's it. Not forever, not confidently, just today. He started small, finished one task, then another. Some days were good. Some days felt pointless. But something shifted. He stopped waiting to feel motivated before taking action. He acted tired. He acted unsure. And slowly, effort stopped feeling like a performance. It became personal. Weeks passed. Nothing magical happened. Life didn't suddenly reward him. But Daniel noticed something important. He was no longer ashamed of trying, even on bad days. And that changed everything. Because giving up doesn't come from failure. It comes from shame. The belief that effort is embarrassing if results aren't guaranteed. Daniel didn't become the best student. He didn't suddenly win. But he stopped abandoning himself. And that was the real turning point. If you're listening to this and you're close to giving up, not loudly, but quietly, I need you to hear this. The moment before you give up is not weakness, it's exhaustion. And exhaustion needs rest, not quitting. You don't need to see the whole future. You don't need confidence. You just need to stay one more day. Because many people who made it didn't feel strong. They just didn't leave. Daniel almost gave up, and that almost changed his life. So if you're standing there right now, tired, confused, unsure, don't decide forever tonight. Decide today. That's enough.